So here we have our next speaker, Dr. Shirin Thomas, who has a very vast credential. She is a practicing counseling psychologist, assistant professor at the Indian Institute of Psychology and Research, Bangalore, a doctorate in counseling psychology, University of Madras, post-graduation in counseling psychology from Martin Luther Christian University, Bangalore. She's also the founder director of Charit Brook Counseling Center, India, which is envisioned in 2015, which provides quality and professional mental health care services across several cities in India and Middle East in 10 languages with a teamwork of 20 mental health professionals comprising of counseling psychologists, clinical psychologists, and multidisciplinary healthcare professionals. She's been working in the healthcare field since 2007, and she's also a recipient of the State Rank Award, the Seva Ratna Gold Medal in 2008 from the Tamil Nadu Dr. MGR Medical University. She has a very consistent and meritorious academic track record throughout her education, diverse knowledge and expertise in physical and mental health, which enable clients to explore their situations from multiple and holistic perspectives. Her contributions are innumerable. She's got several publications, both in national and international, but I think the highlight is her best research paper, which she won at the International Conference on Challenges of Workplace Counseling in the New Millennium 2019, New Approach Towards Employee Assistance Program. She has also authored books on psychology. So in the past 14 years, she has experience as an educator, as a clinician, consultant, counselor. She's playing multiple roles. Personally, Shirin is a very good human being. She has a very ardent lover, very compassionate, full of gratitude to everything in life, and an excellent mentor. And this I speak from my personal experience with the great reviews I've had with Shirin from my own students whom she has served as a counselor. And I think they continue to counsel her and interact with her to help them solve their life day-to-day problems. You can go on speaking about Shirin, and a wonderful human being. So I would like to invite Dr. Shirin to speak about balancing mental, personal, and work life. Over to you, Shirin.
Thank you so much, Dr. Ratika ma'am, and Dr. Sugant KuchToh Technologies for organizing this event on this wonderful Sunday. And it's very humbling to hear all the words that were shared about me, Dr. Ratika. Thank you so much for that elaborate introduction. It's been wonderful knowing you for the past 2-3 years, I believe, and it's been a wonderful journey professionally and personally as well. And it's very warm experience to really have encountered Dr. Sugandh, and with all her vision and mission about KuchToh. So I'm not going to really, take you through a lot of information or bombard you on your Sunday with a lot of, like a lecture. All right. So if all of you could just switch on your cameras, because I really like seeing the faces, seeing the smiles, the beautiful teeth of the dentist, and probably also have a face-to-face interaction. So it will be very nice if each of you could switch on your cameras at least for a few minutes before we start. Thank you. Thank you. That's really appreciated. Wonderful. Yes, I see few familiar faces as well. I see Dr. Linda Robert. I know her husband, Dr. Alex Fonseca. Yes. Hello. Yes. All right. So now I'm going to just ask you one question before we begin. How many of you have a body? Everybody? All right. Any organs missing? Anything donated in your lifetime? All there in place? All right. How many of you have your mind? All right. I don't see a few hands going up. Hello, ma'am. Yes, I don't see a few hands going up. So maybe it's on vacation on a Sunday, I believe. All there with you? Yes, all right. So irrespective of a day, I am sure all of you carry your mind as well as your body. And I think it's very important that we give equal importance to our physical health as well as our mental health. All right. And something that we've been lacking throughout our, education, I think I can start from our kindergarten education is, we were taught to really take care of our physical health, starting with potty training, using the toothbrush, a lot of things, bathing, everything. But how about our mental health? Did any of your school teacher or, when you came down to the college, did your professors, or when you came down to the clinical practice, did any of your seniors or professors, again, okay, trying to really help you with, how do you manage or cope to your mental health, or how do you manage to really keep your mind healthy, beautiful, and abundantly productive? Okay, so these are some of the areas that we lack in a country like India. And very sadly, the statistics that I can really produce to you with the kind of research that I've done among, college-going students, around 300 college-going students, and something that I discovered was, there's no talk going about mental health. Okay, but there's a lot of stress on the mental aspect of a person, functioning to become a healthcare worker. Okay, a lot of stress being added in the terms of books, assignments, preparations, assessments, and once you're even out of the college, again, assessments, preparation, NEET, and whatnot, your USMLE or whatever you want to try for PLAB, or I don't know much of the exams of the dentist, sorry, but I'm just thinking, yeah, there is this, doctor of dentistry, am I right? Which, DDSS, which is like, something very much demanding if you really want to function out of India. A lot of things are continuously like, thrown on us. Given it a choice or not, you have to take it. And if you even have a shield of, probably some kind of escapism from work, absenteeism from work, but again, when you come back after the, the vacation, again, you have to take that. There's no way out. Okay, so you have to take it with all the body you have, with all the mind you have. So you cannot say, can I just use your mind for one day because my mind is not well? You don't have that option. Okay, at least if you, your tiny little finger goes for a cut, you can actually wear a band-aid and show off. So, my finger is cut. So can I just escape this doing the chores of the house? Or, I have a fracture in my hand. So can I just not write the assignment handwritten? Can I type and send? Now, these are some of the, excuses, very valid excuses, which the online, classes have also brought in, where students can actually come up with such valid reasons. Okay. So they really have something they can show off. But now with regard to the mental health, you're not doing well today. All right. And you really had a bad morning, and on the way to work while you were commuting, again, a bad traffic. And when you reach the gate, you were asked 100 of questions. Why were you late? You have to go to and report to the in charge. The practical lab in charge will again shout at you, and then you go to your, internship site or anywhere, and there there's a cranky patient, and who is refusing to do anything what you say, and you are really taking in a lot. And you have no, plaster or a band-aid to show to the world or the people around you that you are not well. Am I speaking anything out of planet Pluto or Jupiter? Is it happening every day around you? Okay, now all those who are married and all those who are going to get married, that's a different scenario back at home. Okay, the same applies to your personal life. Okay, so I was talking in terms of all this workplace, but now let's, just look at your work, your home, your beautiful home, probably a rented house or a, a wonderful place that you built, or family house, but same thing there. Nobody, your mom is not understanding you, your dad is not understanding you, your spouse is not understanding you, that love marriage partner is not understanding you. You cannot walk around with a lot of band-aids saying that today I'm anxious, today I'm actually feeling very frightened because I have an interview, today it's my first day to work, so I'm feeling really numb. You cannot put band-aids and walk around. You wish so, don't you? Am I not heard? Am I not seen? Am I invisible? Is my cry not heard? Is my mood offs not seen? Okay, so this is what I'm talking about, mental health. All right, so I had prepared a PPT, but I do like looking at the faces, at least 3 faces. That's a lot of consolation for me. All right, and so I will share a PPT that I prepared, but I'm going to quickly go through it. I'm not going to like take a classroom kind of, though I'd like interacting like to students. Okay, so quickly I'm going to share a PPT. All right. Yes, can you all see the slide?
Yes.
All right. So the topic that we're going to elaborately look into is mental health. How do I balance my personal and work life? All right. And to start with, I did mention we all have the physical health and mental health, and like our bodies, our minds can be unwell. So the first step is it's important to talk about our mental health. All right. Your health, my health, everybody's health. And earlier, the better. Okay, we all love this beautiful phrase called prevention is better than cure. But how are we actually talking about prevention of mental health problems? Just like how we talk about physical health, like, from early in childhood, we say, don't go there, you will hurt yourself, you'll fall down. But did anybody tell you, don't go there, you will hurt your heart, or, you will come back with a broken heart? We don't talk about mental health right from our early childhood. Okay, and healthy body and healthy mind is the mantra to a happy life. And as healthcare professionals, I believe that if you have a healthy body, but if you do not have a healthy mind, vice versa, if you have a healthy mind, but if you do not have a healthy body, you cannot really say, I'm a happy doctor or I'm a happy healthcare professional. Now, I can ask you one question before, we proceed again further. How many of you felt angry today morning? 1. All right. How many of you felt joyful in the past 1 week? All right. How many of you felt like not getting up? I just want a longer nap and I don't feel like talking to anybody. All right. Okay. How many of you felt really low, hearing some sad news, some, loss of a loved one of somebody else or within your circle? All right. Now, that means you are all having your mental health with you. Okay. Now, the same question, if I ask you, how many of you were continuously angry for all the 7 days of the past 1 week? Do I see any raised hands? No. But in case you see a raised hand, that's, you are having a problem in your mental health. Okay. You're not pagal. You're not, mentally unstable. You need not be chained. You need not be like really, pushed out of the room or the home or the workplace, but you're just not well, and there's something, there is a root cause below. All right. Similarly, I can ask, have you been continuously being joyful for the past 1 week and doing nothing else but just laughing around? And somebody must have called you laughter guru if you have done that, right? So, those are the extremes of emotions that we feel for some reasons that are known only to us. Okay, you've been joyful, that's a good thing. But if you've been laughing out loud, people probably, not your family members, but neighbors must have complained. But, it's good to experience everything extreme, but for a longer time, if something remains, then it's a concern. Okay, especially the sad, the negative emotions. Okay, now coming back to the PPT, and yes. So now 2020 World Mental Health celebration every year it happens on 10th October, but to create awareness from October 1st till 10th is kind of, used for, creating awareness and celebration. Okay, so last year the theme was health for all, mental health for all, greater investment, greater access. So I think with the theme, KuchToh technologies have kind of, done a lot of greater investment and greater access with regard to mental health for all the doctors, making accessibility to work, or with regard to, finding a clinic. A lot of details were given with regard to the website. So now I'm coming to this year's theme, that is mental health in an unequal world. Okay, and here again, Dr. Sugandh had touched upon how the gender bias, or how in an unequal world where some person has accessibility, the other person does not have accessibility, or one person is not seen, the other person is seen too much, or one person is really not aware. Okay, so it's an unequal world. Now if I take the statistics of just how many of us are here, 16 of us, how many of you were really having access to mental health care? Just like, full body checkup. Did you have a full mental health checkup? Okay, so it's an unequal world. Now the first question has given the statistics. It's very clear. Secondly, if I ask you, how many of you know about, the immediate professionals you can contact with regard to your mental health care? Do you have their contact numbers? Do you, have a referral whom you can refer to? Okay, I see only 2-3 hands again. Right? So that's again an unequal world. Now, if you look into a country like India, all right, we have around 135 crore plus population. And if you look at our young India, we are one of the youngest country in the world. But sadly, when I say youngest country, like almost 70% of our population is below 35 years. All right. Now, in this humongous population of young India, the statistics say that, 70% of the suicides happen from this below 35 years. And India is one of the leading country in young suicides. So that's not a good ranking to be. All right, with all the, so we are again talking about mental health in an unequal world. And with now the, the pandemic situation that we just went through, you can just talk about how many of you had privilege to, talking about things openly at home, or did you have a real crisis at home? Did you have the space? Did you, alarmingly in our center, we got calls from men for the very first time in a large number after Sushant Singh's death. Compared to women, because during the lockdown, women did not have access to, booking an appointment for, talking to a therapist, or, meeting with our, regular counselors that they used to meet. They were completely silenced. We know the Indian settings, we know the, the facilities that are available at, so when we talk about unequal world in India, we should talk about how women do not have an equal access, but alarmingly, like I said, men did call up. Because, probably they, many of the said we are kind of locked and we just want to come. We said we don't have face-to-face sessions. No, somewhere online, but they did take up that freedom to, at least book an appointment, but women did not. There was a rapid, sudden, depletion of calls coming from women. That talked a lot about the unequal world that we are living in. Okay, and how much are you even allowed to talk? Or how much can you raise your hand and say, I don't want to go to work today? Now, you must have heard about the maternity leave that's being, coming up in most of the countries, or, even with regard to menstrual leaves. Some of the countries are coming up with menstrual leaves, okay? Allowed to take a few days leave, or even in schools, where a student can apply for a leave. Now, in Indian schools, that is coming up. A school student can apply for a leave when, she's going through the menstrual cycle. That is somewhere, we are, somewhere talking about the unequal world issues with regard to mental health. Okay, which were not there when we were there in school or in college, or, we never heard about it, nor our moms or, our grandmoms heard about it, or they had the privilege. And all the, systems of family systems migrate, moving from joint family system to, nuclear family settings. That's also, again, a scary thing. Because now, at least in the joint family system, you could use, different people in the house to probably vent out, or, share something, share the labor of the work, or, have a hand or a shoulder to cry on, a shoulder to lean on. That's also reducing. All right. So I'm just giving you a background of, what are we talking about when we say unequal world in mental health, and this is the theme for 2021. And like how Dr. Sukand rightly put, the female gender, many are passing out. I know many of the students who study up to masters, but they don't end up working. Okay, and even during their masters, they would either be forcefully put into the system of, get married before 25 and have a child before 28, and, the child should be in 5th standard by the age of 30. I don't know how. There's a lot of statistics that, you can see around you. Okay, and so what are we talking about when we say mental health? Are we talking about the mental health about ourselves, about family members, about our colleagues? All right, so again, back to the PPT. Just one second. Yes. So the new way of living is no one should feel ashamed about having a mental health problem, just like you might have a broken leg. And in the context of healthcare professionals that we have all gathered together and to talk about us, or to talk about, the work jobs or placements where you are, a private practice or working with a clinic or with a, hospital, or, you're probably still continuing to study, or, aiming for something, higher, something like how Dr. Sukand, being a pediatric dentist, she came up with something like KuchToh. If you're thinking about entrepreneurship or any of those sort, okay, balancing work and life is important, without which whatever dream you have, whatever passion you have, whatever potential you have, you may not be able to really bring it out. All right. And now I'm going to ask you, how is your work life? Okay. We already talked about how from education, we have to continue to really take up, an internship, a part-time job, a full-time job, then again, slog for long hours, update to the current knowledge, and probably deal with a lot of uncertainty with the kind of patients that you may deal with. And if here there are few medical doctors, you might have even had to deal with death and distress, if you were working as a COVID frontline worker. And along with that, all while maintaining like a beautiful face of compassion, you have to be empathetic. So when I say work life, you have been subjected to continuous giving. Isn't it? You are asked to continuously give out, pour out, or, you had been always at the giving end. Once you reach your workplace, you put on your white coat, you're there, you are there for everyone. You're supposed to be there for everyone. Okay, for your patients, caregivers, for your caregivers, friends, okay, and your the questions, the queries that we are supposed to be there. So at the end of the day, you have given so much, and all with the pleasant smile and a compassionate heart. You've been probably trained to give. Even during your internships, you have seen your senior doctors do so, and you have kind of had a role model where I want to be like this ma'am, I want to be like this sir, who's always so compassionate, she's always giving. All right, but at the end of the day, have you checked whether your battery has drained out? Yes. So when I say battery drained out, do you have a battery? Do you recharge it? Do you have a recharge plan? I would, really want to listen to your answers, but with the time, I'm just assuming you do not. Yes, I assume that you do not even know that you have a battery in your body.
Right.
Yes. Okay, so I'm going to lead you to that understanding. That is one of the main intention. Miss Shruti, if you could just mute yourself. Thank you. Yes, all right. Can you see the slide again?
Yes.
All right. Now, this is about the work life I'm talking about. Now, let's come to our personal life, okay? You have your family event, you have birthdays, anniversaries, weekends. If you're recently married, you're in your honeymoon period, or if you're 1 year already married, you're, the talks about having a child. And if you've already given birth to a child, then baby, then, you have young children, running around, drawing on the walls, or if you're again pregnant or again going to, trying for some kind of to be conceived, going through that process, the talks, the emotional, and if you have elderly parents, and if you live in a joint family, you have a personal life. Okay, now at the start of your career, okay, in the college level, nobody talks about, just like Dr. Sugandh mentioned, that nobody talks about how to, when in your training, when you were doing your, college preparation or in your college studies, nobody taught you that, these are the skills you can use for marketing. Similarly, nobody taught you, these are the things you would face when you are going to work as a doctor. You're going to have a personal life, you're going to have a work life, and you have to balance it. Okay, so now one of the things that we usually see in our scenario is, all these above mentioned family event, weekends, recently married, going through the pregnancy duration, or having a, a elderly parent who needs some medical checkup, or, hospitalized. The, the healthcare professionals do take a leave, okay, or, they just apply for a leave. I have an emergency, I have to go, but they come back and probably they have to compensate for that by working longer hours, or face the consequences. So somewhere the personal life has come out and affected the work life again. So somewhere that compensatory time that you have spent for your family has to be recovered in your workplace. Okay, so the work-life balance is really, shaky. And I'm going to give you a scenario of, a narrative from a doctor who worked during the COVID, duty. He said, while I was engrossed in the sustained chaos in the hospital duties, I was disconnected from the outside world. For those 4 weeks, I was solely driven by my passion to take care of acutely sick patients. No matter how physically or mentally tired I might have been, those patients were more precious than my sleep. I soon realized that this chronic lack of sleep and mental and emotional fatigue made me neglect my family and affected my mood. Any other concerns that my family or friends had seemed less important to me, and I did not warrant immediate attention compared to acutely ill children holding on to their lives. This made me question my priorities. Is my triage of responsibilities right? Is my work schedule affecting my attitude toward non-urgent concerns outside the hospital? And most importantly, do I want to do this for the rest of my life? Okay, does this sound familiar to you, my dear friends today who have gathered and taken time to really attend this session? Have you questioned your purpose of life as a doctor? Have you questioned your priorities as healthcare professional about the person you are? Have you come across such crossways in your life?
Yes.
Yes. Okay, and these questions do come up because somewhere you're trying to find out where my battery is.
True.
All right, not knowing where the battery is, but at least questioned, something is requiring some attention. All right, now again back to the PPT. Yes, now definition of mental health, I have chosen a very friendly definition, not a very technical, so that you just imbibe as to what are we talking about when we say mental health. Okay, mental health is the capacity to live a full productive life as well as flexibility to deal with its ups and downs. Okay, now for example, if I talk about one age group, say children and young people, it is like, when the child is studying in the school, he should have the capacity to learn, he should be able to enjoy friendships, he should be able to meet challenges of the school, his home and his playground, to develop talents and capabilities. Now here you are all in your, probably in your young adult stage, and what what are you supposed to really enjoy during this, age of your development? Are you really living a full productive life? Are you flexibly able to, deal with your ups and downs? Or is there something of concern? Okay, that's what I'm talking about with regard to mental health. Now, just like we keep stressing within our family walls, check your blood sugar, check your blood pressure, check your blood cholesterol. Now, early, but do we start talking about check your anxiety level, check your depression level? Do we talk about it with the same importance? Can I have this?
You're breaking, Dr. Shirin. Your voice is breaking.
How about now?
Yeah, it's better.
All right. So what was the last thing that was heard?
Depression, stress, anxiety, and depression.
Yes. All right. So just like we stress upon our, the levels of blood sugar, blood pressure, or blood cholesterol, similarly, we should give equal importance to the levels of stress, anxiety, and depression that, we take it, without realizing that it's gone out of my, capacity. Now, I'll just show you one mental health continuum. Okay. Now, we talk about well-being, good well-being and poor well-being. Now, in the continuum, I have no diagnosis. I am well and I'm enjoying my life. That is one part. Other is I have no diagnosis, but I'm not coping and I'm not happy. Okay. So the difference between the both is that you have no diagnosis of any of the mental health problems, but however, you are not coping and you're not happy. Now let's look at the other part of the continuum. I have a mental health diagnosis. I have severe stress. I have severe anxiety. I have severe level of depression, and I'm not coping and I'm not happy. And the other end is I have a mental health diagnosis, but I'm coping well and enjoying my life. Now, if you can just spot where you are right now, okay, this is the talk that can create an awareness within yourself first, and with your family members and with your colleagues or the people around you. Okay, where do you fit into? Are you towards the good well-being or are you going towards the poor well-being? All right. Now let's talk about work-life balance. I've already touched on these points as to, we have to focus on the transitions happening at our workplace. We have to equally focus on, the transitions happening at our home. And with the frequent change workplaces or not having a workplace such as clinic setting, there reaches a point that, in the Indian mindset, there is a saying that, if you're not having work or a workplace or a clinic setup, in terms of, I'm talking from the healthcare professional or, private practice, if you do not have a, a clinic space of your own, they kind of feel, the mindset is I'm not settled. Okay, I have to put everything on hold until I have a private practice space. And I think with what KuchToh kind of talked about with regard to, having access to, getting a space or renting out a space with regard to, and the settlement that you've been worried about, kind of answers a lot of questions, and, a lot of issues can be also organized instead of really being worried about, whom do I talk to? Do I have a support system outside my home? Do I have a professional network that I can connect to? All right. So, somewhere outside your work space, if you have a professional network like KuchToh, I think it kind of helps. And when we talk about the life balance, the home, all the stress that you're taking upon yourself during the work hours, and you come back home and you throw it on your family members or your relations, okay, that's going to be a strain that's going to have an impact on relationships, and it destroys families. It separates family and friends, okay, and that means as healthcare workers, I do not have support inside my home also. I do not have support outside my home also, that is in my workplace, because now with all the stress that you have got from your home, you go back to your workplace and you throw at your colleagues or you throw at your patients, okay, and somewhere, how much ever pleasant or compassionate you are, you might, have an impact when you're making a clinical decision that you have made with your patient. Okay, so are you facing difficulty to cope to work and personal life, irrespective of the gender, female and male? And now, we say that cooking, washing, and, maintaining the household chores is not gender based. It is, life skills. Are the male gender equally updated to this information that it's not only the female's job to look into the household chores, or it's only male are supposed to be the breadwinners? Okay, so all these talks inside your home, inside your carrying the stress from home to work or from work to home, there's a kind of imbalance that kind of creeps in unknowingly and very strongly. Now the battery that I'm talking about is I'm going to introduce a word called burnout. Okay, so burnout is when you realize that your batteries are just going down. Okay, and burnout is everywhere. You can't fight an enemy unless you recognize it. Okay, so I'm going to ask you one question. Can you please tell me, when I say battery, what is the battery that I'm talking about?
Energy.
Energy, very good, ma'am. Any other answers?
Good mood, cheerfulness. You don't feel like talking to people?
All right. So that's again kind of, some kind of visible thing that's coming out. Any other answers? What crossed your mind when I said your battery is draining?
Physical and mental energy both.
Yes, very good, Dr. Linda. And any other? I'll take one more answer. All right.
Taking family and workplace into a positive mode.
Taking the family and workplace into a positive mode, a journey of, positivity. All right. So I'm going to just connect all your answers. Okay. We'll start with, how Dr. Radhika said energy, and, yes. When I say battery, it's supposed to have some energy, right? And it needs a recharge, and, it should be recharged with some good fuel, like, cheerfulness, happiness, and, a journey of, carrying that battery to your workplace fully charged and to your home fully charged. Okay. And you don't drain your battery at workplace and you go back empty, and nor do you walk out of your home empty and try to fill it in your workplace. Okay, so, and here I'm going to bring in a very strong connection from what Dr. Linda said, the physical energy as well as the mental energy. All right, now you need physical energy to carry that battery. Yes, so you need an oxygen cylinder, but if you don't have the lungs, that oxygen is in vain. All right, so the battery that I'm talking about can be only carried if you have sufficient physical energy as well. So I'm going to really, guide you through as to, some of the areas. And if you have any questions.
How do you identify this burnout?
All right, ma'am. Okay, so that's one important area that I'm going to cover is burnout. If you look at it, is when it occurs when your energy account. Are you able to see the slide? Or
yes.
All right, so it's the energy account that you have. It's like a bank balance. Okay, so now if it's going towards the negative balance over time, okay, say now we are in October, okay, and if your journey began in September, from September till October, you had a full battery charge, but by the time of you've reached your next month, you are actually going towards negative and negative balance, and there's no refilling happening, and you continue to function in such a depleted state. Okay, you are not going to be really yourself. You're not going to be an efficient doctor. You're not going to achieve all your dreams and your passion and all the potential that you have. All right, and if you have a positive account in your balance, okay, you also have, you are a shadow of a doctor that I am functioning well. I am, having a positive balance between my work and my personal life and, my battery is being recharged time and time again. All right. And so I'm going to just give you this difference. We all go through stress. Now, the difference between stress and burnout is, in stress, you put in too much effort. But in burnout, you have reached a point it's hard to put in any more effort. In stress, you do feel emotions more strongly. I felt angry today morning. But now in the burnout, your emotions feel blunted. I have no energy to even say I'm angry. Similarly, stress is, I feel hyperactive and anxious. Okay, I have something, I have an exam, or I am going for a job, search. But the burnout says, I'm already drained, I'm helpless, I want to give up my profession. All right. Stress is, you have less energy. Okay. You have just taken in too many patients, too many, intakes, and, too much at home, and you just have less energy. You're just tired. But burnout is, you have no more motivation to go to the clinic tomorrow. Okay, or to go to your workplace, or even, you don't want to go back to your home and do your work at home also. Now, stress is, it takes a physical toll on you. Okay, you kind of feel the symptoms. You feel, very tired muscles, or, you feel your breathing, very heavily. You feel palpitations. You feel like you're sweating. You feel your throat is dry. There's a lot of stress leading to anxiety, and anxiety, having it's a viscous cycle. Burnout is, now you have, it has reached a point. It has taken emotional toll on you. Okay, so the earlier stress is, it was only a physical toll, but now it's taken a toll on your emotional health. And burnout, there are 12 stages that a person might go through. That is, you might go from excessive drive or ambition. You have so many dreams and, ambition, but then you push yourself to work hard, and you neglect your personal care and needs. You deprive yourself of good sleep, food and family and interactions. Then you have a displacement of conflict. Okay, what am I doing with my life? Am I really, living my dream life, or am I really giving the best of, what I should be giving? And then you go to the stage of no time for non-work related needs. Let me focus on my career, my exams, my books, my exams, my patients, my clients. And you have stopped looking, you've completely disconnected from the real life outside. Then you reach a point of denial that, this is not happening. Then you withdraw, you go into a withdrawal. Okay, then you have behavior changes. You might really be someone, you were Mr. X, but now you are Mr. Y. Nobody recognizes you. Okay, there's a depersonalization. Okay, what happened to her? What happened to him? He used to be the best doctor. He used to, really be, doing so much in his profession. Now what happened? And then as a person, you start feeling inner emptiness. I am good for nothing. My life is useless. I have no purpose. I have no direction. I have nobody. And then depression creeps in, and both physical and mental health is exhausted, and you collapse. And when you collapse, everybody can see it. Everybody can hear about it. And somewhere you might be labeled, you might be tagged, or you might, be looked upon with different eyes. And, there might be gossips and, sayings about you. Okay. But so I'm coming to the next area where, how can you prevent burnout? Okay, and rightly put by all of you, energy. We're talking about physical energy. We're talking about mental. When we say mental, it's emotional energy. And another area which, as Indians, which we give a lot of importance, is our spiritual energy. So I'm going to just talk about these three. And ma'am, I just want to know, how much time do I have?
You still have 10 minutes.
All right. So now, with regard to prevention, I'm not going to show my PPT. I'm going to have an interaction. Okay. So now, how do you usually recharge your physical energy battery?
Nutrition.
Workouts.
Right. Workouts. What else?
Practicing hobby. Drawing,
Practice.
or dancing, or whatever.
Pursuing your interest.
I was looking for a very important answer. and I have not heard about it. Nutrition was there, workout was there.
Talking to friends and family.
Physical energy. I'm talking about physical energy.
Sleep. Sleep.
Sleep.
Yes, Dr. Madhika. Yes. Sleep. Okay, rest. Rest for our body. You know, our body is created to do a lot of Dr. Madhika, I think you need to mute yourself. The fan is, yeah. Now, when we talk about, you know, physical energy, we really need to recharge it by having good amount of, you know, rest. Okay, and when I say rest, it just not our 7 to 8 hours of sleep in the night, but also, you know, shorter naps in between if you can catch up to, or, you know, a time where you can, you know, sit and do some relaxation, some kind of, you know, just not doing anything that is not really going back again to work. Okay, a time to just recharge your body, okay, with some water, with good food, healthy food, not junk food. All right, and that's about physical energy. Now let me ask you this question: how will you recharge your emotional energy?
Meditation.
Meditation. Very good answer.
Silence.
Any? What is it?
Just spend time with yourself. Just
Thinking
Just
positive.
positive. All right. So positive.
Talking to friends like
Talk.
Sugandh.
All right, talking to friends. Very good. Any other? How will you recharge your emotional energy? Irrespective of whether you're an introvert or an extrovert.
think.
Pursuing your hobbies.
Yes, ma'am, right?
Uh, Retrogradely thinking about the situation and realizing that, oh, if I would have reacted in this way, this measure of depression, whatever I'm having right now, might be lesser, or there might be no depression.
All right. So, you know, a time of, you know, retrospection, talking to friends, you know, or just sitting quietly with yourself, all that. But now, can I say, you mentioned friends, and you talked about even a colleague like Dr. Sugandh. How about family? Will family play a role with regard to your emotional energy?
Very much.
Definitely.
Important area to, you know, go and sit and recharge.
Right.
Okay, that's a very good plug point. Okay, family, friends, colleagues. So what do you do with your you know, colleagues other than just talking? Do you plan something out, you know, like hobbies? You know, Ratika ma'am talked about hobbies. That's, you know, you and your hobby. But have you talked about doing that hobby with along with your friend or with your family member? Okay, these are other options to really plug in and recharge your emotional energy. All right, taking support. All right, doing something together like an adventure, you know, and doing volunteering work somewhere to an NGO or a charity organization. Okay, you know, we are givers. But when we give to a place which really cannot give us back in terms of, you know, volunteering and all, that's a different kind of, you know, we're not really doing it with regard to, you know, some expectation. We are doing it with regard to the factor called compassion. All right, and that gives in a lot of you know, refueling to your soul. Okay, again, emotions and soul. Now let me come to your spiritual energy recharge. What do you do for your spiritual energy?
Being mindful.
Meditate.
Meditate, mindful, anything else?
Gratitude.
Gratitude, anything else? All those are correct answers, but anything else? recharging your spiritual battery would be really, going beyond to your purpose of life. All right. It's just not dentistry. It's just not, maybe functioning as a doctor and with the specialty that you have. Beyond that, what is your purpose of self, of living on earth? Connecting to yourself. Okay, and sometimes that disconnect happens from your personal, the work-life imbalance happens because, you're not sitting with yourself, and, like how Dr. Madhvika said about introspection, that introspection as to, what am I doing with my greater self? The question of how much am I prioritizing, my energy with regard to not just physical, mental, but also spiritual. So all three put in together, the battery should be equally charged for you to really function well, and to really look into, greater avenues of contribution to the society, with contribution to your family, and with contribution to your workplace. All right. So I think I've kind of like really touched on, few points that you can look into with regard to mental health, and with the theme of World Mental Health Day on October 10th and October 3rd, Dr. Sugandh giving me this opportunity to really talk about mental health, and in terms of, balancing work and personal life. We touched upon the area of what is mental health. We talked about, what are the areas, we should, keep a check on, like, a full body checkup, the checkup on, the stress level, anxiety level, and depression level. Then we talked about, if you don't manage your work and personal life effectively, you reach a point of burnout. And we try to identify, what are some of the signs and what are some of the stages of burnout. And we talked about how we can prevent by really, identifying that we have a battery within ourselves, and we also have an enemy that is called burnout. And since we know that we can recognize this enemy, now we can attack it. All right. And in terms of how to attack the enemy of called burnout, we can really sit at, various plug points of our life and recharge it. Recharge your physical energy. If you need to drink more water, recharge it. If you need to have more, antioxidants to be added in your diet, add it. If you want to jump around, hop around, stand upside down, refueling your entire physical energy to a different level. How much time do you spend at the, workout, involving your family members, your friends, your colleagues, and when you talk about emotional energy, how much time do you spend quality time with your family members, friends, colleagues, discussing something other than just not work, okay, something about, greater things in life to look around. And finally, the spiritual energy battery that I talked about, very important to connect to yourself time and time again, okay, not forgetting that you have a greater purpose than just your profession, than just your degrees, okay, you are much greater being than all this, okay. And at the end of the day, that when I say at the end of the day, when you become reach the geriatric age of your life, you have so much more to look back at your life than just your work, your clinic, and going back home and coming back to work, going back home and work. Don't have a diary or a story. Rewrite your story from today with regard to recharging your life, and wish you all a wonderful and healthy mental health journey from today, as if it has helped you with any of the points that I've covered.